What's up, guys? Greetings from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So last week I was in Palm Beach. You guys might have seen that video. This week I'm in Fort Lauderdale. I wanted to check out other parts of South Florida while it's still not like crazy hot because it's winter here in Florida right now. So I wanted to check out Fort Lauderdale, and you guys know anytime I travel I want to check out what gay dating is like in that place, right? So this was my first time here. Before coming here, let me tell you what I assumed would happen, like what my assumption was about Fort Lauderdale. I've always thought of Fort Lauderdale as like the more sort of bro-y, straight version, more Caucasian version of Miami. Like less international, less cosmopolitan, just like the smaller beach town that maybe is more like, you know, family from the Midwest oriented than Miami. Okay. In terms of gay dating, for that reason, I just assumed that it didn't really have a gay dating presence. I've always thought of Miami as like a gay hub, right? Like there's certain hubs across the country, of course, San Francisco, New York City, Philadelphia. Certain cities are known for having like a gay presence, Los Angeles. And I just always thought of Miami as like that for this area. But I know a few guys here, like friends of friends, who had told me no, because they live here. They said, you will see, come to Fort Lauderdale, there's a huge gay presence here. It's way more, there's a way bigger presence than in Miami. And I just didn't believe them because I was like, no, like Miami's like a famously, you know, gay friendly place, whatever. I just never thought of Fort Lauderdale as a particularly gay friendly place, or definitely not more than Miami. So I came here to explore, and I have my findings to share with you. So what I will say first off is just checking out the apps here. It was refreshing. If you've seen my last video where I was in Palm Beach, it was refreshing to finally to yet again like see men of all ages, and guys, actually a lot of guys around my age, a lot of different backgrounds. Palm Beach was very homogenous. It was very much like white old men, frankly. And when I say old, I don't mean 40s, I don't even mean 50s, I mean like grandpa age across all the apps. And it was pretty consistent. There were some exceptions, of course, but it was kind of shocking to me how many I've never gotten so many messages from guys that were old enough to be my grandfathers when I was in Palm Beach. So here in Fort Lauderdale, to actually be exposed to guys in my age range, and also just a lot of different varieties, like a lot of Latin guys, just like Miami. Indeed, there were some more like bro-y looking guys, but like all the quote-unquote tribes, gay tribes that you find across apps, there was a good mixture. So that was refreshing. I will say that overall, my other impression from just kind of scanning the lot of the apps is that it does feel like a crowd that's less refined than what you might find in another major city in the States. And I would even say less refined than the crowd that you see even in Miami on the apps. Not that it's like a super refined crowd on the apps in Miami, but here it did end up feeling just like I thought it would, like a kind of like a bootleg version of Miami. And that did permeate into the like demographic of the men that I saw on these apps. Otherwise, it was the same kind of typical bullshit of like, you know, I matched with a few guys who didn't make any conversation, or like, you know, guys on apps just being like ill-mannered, particularly on the hookup apps. Like that was nothing out of the ordinary. So then I thought, let me check out the gay bar scene, and I was so pleasantly surprised to find out that there is like a gay neighborhood here. It's called Wilton Manors. Now, I had heard of Wilton Manors before. I didn't realize that it was in Fort Lauderdale. I just thought it was like another separate town. I guess the way it works is it's considered part of the greater Fort Lauderdale area, but it is technically its own like town, I guess. And Wilton Manors here is like the gay mecca of this area. So I was pleasantly surprised. I ended up going just to check out a few of the bars, and it's like a strip of bars and just like gay friendly establishments, very much reminiscent of the strip of gay bars in West Hollywood, for anybody who's familiar with that, in Los Angeles, or even like, you know, the part of Hell's Kitchen that is heavily really all of Hell's Kitchen in New York City is heavily concentrated with gay bars. So it was similar to that. So again, me coming from Miami, I was like, this is so odd that I've always thought of Miami as a gay hub. But in Miami, at least in Miami Beach, There's really just 2 gay bars that are in close vicinity of each other. Otherwise, any other gay bars are kind of like randomly scattered across Miami. So I was like, wow, like here there really must be a significant enough presence in Fort Lauderdale that there's a strip of gay bars in this one area. Now, I went on a Thursday night. These are also COVID times, and I went around 9 or 10 p.m. So completely normal that the bars were not like poppin'. I will say the first bar I went to was called Drynk, and that one was, I thought, actually surprisingly busy, but none of the others that I checked out that night were busy. I also checked out the Eagle, the Wilton Manors version of the Eagle, for anybody who's familiar with the Eagle Bar. That's basically a chain at this point. They have one in a bunch of different cities. Having been to the New York City one, I thought the Wilton Manors one was very underwhelming. Like, it didn't feel genuinely Eagle-esque to me. It felt like a Florida touristy version of the Eagle, because for anybody who's really been to like the authentic Eagle experience, it's a very industrial, even kind of like grungy and dark setting, the way that it's set up, like dimly lit. This was very different. It was not dimly lit, and very like colorful. So anyway, back to the gay bars in general. That first bar, Drynk, that I went to, highly recommended for anybody who visits this area. It's like the cutest gay bar I think I've ever been to. Most gay bars tend to be kind of campy, kind of trashy, dive bar types. This was really cute. When you first come in, it has like a cozy dive bar feel, but like way cleaner, way more polished than your average dive bar. But what really is special about it is you keep going all the way to the end, and there's a courtyard outside, and it's very, it's just like really nicely set up and organized, and there's all this like lush vegetation, like foliage, I guess we can call it, that makes you feel really isolated from, you know, whatever buildings are around. So it's really, really nice. So anyway, with Fort Lauderdale, when it comes to the bars, I was pleasantly surprised that there was like a scene of places to socialize with other gay men. With the apps, I was like, underwhelmed, not really, you know, anything noteworthy I felt to mention about that. Now, I do have a story. I didn't actually, by the way, I didn't actually meet anybody from the apps or even at the bars. Like, the bartender was chatting me up at the Eagle, and then at Drynk, these 2 guys started talking to me, which I didn't really feel like talking to them. One of them was nice, but the other guy was just like very sloppy drunk, and he kept offering me cigarettes, and I kept saying I don't smoke. And, you know, sometimes you just meet somebody at a bar and you're like, this person's like just too much, like you're annoying me, but you don't want to be rude, so you just kind of like nod and listen. It was like that. But anyway, beyond that, I didn't actually interact with any gay men. I didn't meet anybody, but I do have a story. I do have a story that I want to share with you guys. I think it's a good way to end this video, and I'm always curious what you guys think about these sort of ambiguous, strange situations. So I'm going to tell it to you objectively, and then you can think for yourself. You know, you can tell me what you think. So, of course, being Fort Lauderdale, I went to the beach here, and one day when I went to the beach here, I was going on a long, long walk, and I saw this man who was so sexy, very hairy. I like hairy. Great shape. Bald, but bald in a sexy way. You know, like not everybody can pull off the bald look, but he just looked great with it. And so I'm going on my long walk, so I'm going in a different direction, and I saw he was like going into the water. And in my head I felt like, I hope I see him on the way back. On the way back from my long walk, happened to almost cross paths as I was coming back from my long walk across, you know, the sand, across the shore, whatever. I could see him actually exiting the beach. So I was like, damn, like I'm not even gonna be able to potentially make eye contact. By the way, of course I have no idea if he's gay, right? The whole time I'm just like, who's this guy? Whenever I see a man alone though, on the beach, and maybe this is like really foolish of me to jump to this conclusion, but I just assume that they're gay, because I just feel like straight men hang out with their friends. Like, why would a straight man just hang out by himself at a beach? Like, why would he come visit a place by himself? Like, maybe I'm delusional. I just feel like a straight man would come with a woman that he's partnered with or dating or whatever, or like a group of friends, or a group of male friends specifically, or family. Maybe I'm just projecting my own life experience. So I see him exiting, and the W Hotel was like the next closest building, so I'm like, oh, he's going in, like, lost my shot, right? And then I'm like, as I'm still walking on the beach, I'm slowly kind of like stalking, and I noticed that actually he doesn't go to the W. There's a parking lot right next to the W, and he has a car there, and he's, you know, changing there and whatever, like getting into the car. So I'm at this point not even 20 feet away, okay? Maybe a little bit more than 20 feet. I'm not really good with measurements of like distance, you know, estimates. Anyway, I was close enough that I was like, I'm just gonna walk by this parking lot. Like, it's right there, nothing to lose. My libido was quite high that day, and again in my mind I'm like, I'm just curious, like, what's this guy's deal? Is he straight? Is he not straight? Maybe if I walk by and make eye contact, like, I don't know, this is me and my crazy fantasies, I guess. So I walk by the parking lot, doesn't notice me, and then obviously now I have to come back to the beach, right? I have all my stuff at the beach, so I have a second chance to cross paths, and I'm like, fuck it, like, just say something. So I innocently, as if I even care, am like, hey, excuse me, is this the W Hotel? And he's like, oh yeah, I think it's either this or the building behind. Obviously I don't really care about the W Hotel, I'm not staying there. And then I go, oh, okay, thanks, are you visiting? And he goes, no, I live here. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm visiting. And, you know, I'm slowly kind of like walking back to the beach as I'm saying this, and then he goes, oh, where are you visiting from? So in my mind, this is like my in, right? Like, he's actually engaging. I say, I'm visiting from Miami, and he laughs at me. He's like, Miami? What do you mean you're visiting from Miami? That's like half an hour away. Like, you're from this area. And I'm like, yeah, but you know, I moved here a year ago. I'm still learning the lay of the land, and while it's still winter here, I wanted to explore different parts like Fort Lauderdale, yada. So he goes, oh, okay, cool, yeah, I used to live in Miami. I used to live in, I think he said Southwest Miami. So then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm still like learning the different neighborhoods. And then after that, there's like, he wasn't saying anything else. So again, I'm like, I already got into this conversation. I'm just gonna keep this going. And again, in my mind, I'm like, is he straight? Is he not straight? Is he gay? What's going on? So I just straight up go, do you know any fun places to hang out around here? And he mentioned some bar, wasn't familiar with it, whatever. And then I said, well, how about gay bars? Do you know any gay bars around here? Just to, again, like, probe and see what reaction I get. And he mentioned a bar again that I was, you know, I didn't care about the bar name. I just wanted to like interact with him. And he said, yeah, if you go to you'll see like people around there. So I didn't know if that actually meant it was a gay bar, or if he just was mentioning a place that he's seen gay people at. It was very ambiguous. So then I go, have you been there? Like, have you been to the gay bars? Because again, I'm just trying to figure out like, what's going on here? And he goes, oh, I'm not really a bar person. Then I'm like, okay. Well, nice to meet you. You know, my name's Kiven. And I went in for a handshake, and he went in for like the elbow high five kind of thing. I don't know if that was because of COVID or because he was holding his car keys and he didn't feel like transferring them to his other hand. I don't know. But then, you know, there's nothing else to say, and I'm like, do you want to stay in touch? And he's like, oh, no, I'm all right. I'm good. So then I just walk away awkwardly. And I mean, you know, A+ for effort. But that was me telling you the story objectively. Okay, so obviously he just wasn't interested, which is fine. But I still don't know if he was actually gay or not. And it was just so ambiguous, the conversation, right? I feel like a straight person would respond by making it clear that they're straight, right? Instead of just being like, oh, no, you know, they would be like, oh, I'm straight, sorry, or like, I only date girls, or they would say, I'm not familiar with the gay bars, I'm not gay, but, you know, XYZ, or like, my gay friends go to XYZ bar, right? Based on the conversation, I was like, Anyway, guys, this is my take on gay dating in Fort Lauderdale. Always curious what you guys think. See you next time.